Now, this has become sort of an annual tradition. We've talked about it every year. There's so much anticipation that builds up to this concert every year. Um, can you share what inspired you and Kristen to embark on this journey every year and to continue doing it year after year?
I think every part of our organization, whether it's writing, publishing, records, Christmas, hymn tours, Christmas tours, sing conference, even working now with the hymnal, with the foundation, with all the new things that are happening. In one sense, all of them are part of the grand plan, in the sense that, back when we wrote In Christ Alone in the year 2000, we finished it in 2001. We sat in Brighton Lanes one day, just in Brighton, just in this little coffee shop, and wrote down, what would a world look like in 2050 if our kids grew up singing songs like In Christ Alone, songs that give people a big picture of the God of the Bible, help them understand what the Bible was all about, help them understand the whole spectrum of human emotion, and just what that would be, what would it mean for their understanding of the Bible, but also what would it mean for their understanding of themselves, so for creativity, for community. And my three heroes were Martin Luther and Charles Wesley and John Newton. And in each of those guys, one generation after they wrote their hymns, not only did lots of people become Christians, were churches planted, but culture was different. The social conditions improved, conditions of hospitals, of education, of governance, of safety, all improved. And so we thought, let's for 50 years create an organization that is focused primarily on giving people great hymns that help them understand the Lord, and then secondarily, let's do things with those songs that bring them. So the idea of the Christmas show was always just taking that canon of great Christmas hymns and helping people understand what they are, and then secondarily trying to add a few new ones to it as well. And I guess the kind of early on, a few things happened. We started to make an album, and I happened to be talking to a friend called Tom Bledsoe on the phone one day, and Tom was running the Billy Graham organization, and he said, "Could you do an event? Billy Graham is going to speak at it, and basically we need two sets of 20 minutes. We want some traditional carols or your favorite Christmas hymns, all wrapped up in an Irish bow, and then maybe 20 minutes of your modern Christmas carols as well. And Billy Graham will speak." And we did it, and it was great. And so that was the first thing, which was a little bit of a unique way to start. And soon after that, everybody wanted a Christmas show. People who heard the music wanted to hear a Christmas event. And soon after that, again, we had things like PBS came on board. PBS came on board and became a PBS special, which was interesting because the Christian media wasn't necessarily that interested in it, but PBS thought it was a great idea. So we worked with them on a PBS special. It became in 2014. It became really the sole sort of Christian show in the Carnegie Hall Christmas season. Obviously, they do Handel's Messiah, which is inherently Christian, albeit not performed by Christians. But it was the only show about Christians, and it's been this year again. It continues to be that. We had a tremendous 5-year run at the Kennedy Center as well, and then after COVID, partnered now with the Green family, doing it at the Museum of the Bible for 3 nights instead. But it's just been an extraordinary opportunity that has opened doors for people, and so we're just so very excited about it.
Why do you think it was the secular media that wanted to promote this and not Christian media that's so interesting?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two ways of looking at what we do. If you look at it as hymns and how many churches, what percentage of church worship today is hymns, some people see what we do as a kind of a niche micro audience among the broader church. Mm-hmm. If you look at it from a broader level and across the whole musical world, we have tremendous favor among many communities, from classical to inspirational to bluegrass to global, that Christian music wouldn't have, because the music touches different areas. And so I think part of it is that our hymns, have had a tremendous breadth of reach, from national coronations and things like this being done, which obviously modern worship would never be in that space. But so we had lots of really interesting experiences like that. But I think also the other factor was, the Irish thing had a unique appeal, and I can't, if I can't take any credit for the hymns, I certainly can't take any credit for being Irish. I was just born Irish, So, so that was a lot of fun, and I give, a lot of the people in the band made it good that way. I didn't have the skills to do that. I've got an Irish accent, but really, the likes of Finn Barra, who was the solo guitarist in Riverdance, had transitioned across to become our band director, and so, he was able to bring some of that sensibility and intelligence to this music that made it so fresh.
Keith, talk about keeping reverence in hymns, in Christmas music. I know we were talking about this a little bit before, finding that balance of really preserving the sanctity of the Christmas season while also making it appeal to a broader audience, and also, touching on the fun and the lightness that also comes with Christmas. How do you guys toe that line and walk that balance?
In terms of the show is very much in two halves. We learned in the American culture that Americans like to go out and celebrate at Christmas and have a happy experience. Mm-hmm. And usually what happens, even in church life, is it's largely as a happy experience event, or it's a big church production with cannons going off and people and preaching and stuff. And so what we did was we created a thing that was just a genuine Irish party. The first half is 45 minutes. It's high energy. It's fun. It's all about virtuosity, but it all builds itself around the great hymns of Christmas. Obviously, what makes our show different than, Immigrants from Michael W. Smith and Andrew Peterson, whatever, is ours is the great hymns of Christmas. That's what we do. Then the second half is a 60-minute version of the 9 lessons and carols, where we read through the Christmas story and go through the 9 lessons and carols, and everybody gets to join in and sing the great hymns of the faith. So that's kind of how it works.
I love that. Well, I've always wanted to go to an Irish party, so I'm excited for this concert.
Anytime. And the band play. There's the band play that Kristen does number of songs, and we get everybody to join in as well. We sort of teach you guys how to sing a little bit as part of it. Then our kids, in the second half of the tour, once our kids get off school, they get to appear as well and do some stuff in it. So it's really fun.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so in New York, you're going to have special guests joining you, like A.R. Bernard and Michael Keller, who's Tim Keller's son. Talk about the importance of including these guests in the show and how that enhances the experience, both for the performers and for the audience.
Well, the New York show each year takes a little bit of a different twist, and we haven't announced the artist. The artist will be announced next week for that one. Just been a little bit of a delay with that, but for example, last year we had the Confessio album, was nominated for the Grammy, the Irish American Roots record, and so we built the show around that. Next year's my 50th birthday. We're building it around that. This year, the most moving moment I had in New York was invited to Tim's memorial service, and obviously Tim Keller, he and I worked together in 7 different projects together over a decade, and he was such a hero to me. He was much more of a hero to me than I could ever have been to him. But I wanted just to do a few New Yorkers who knew him this year and do that. Malcolm Gout's writing a poem for New York to be premiered that night. And we're going to have a couple of artists in the first half who are inspired a lot by Tim Keller. So we're looking forward to that.
Keith, you and Kristen also collaborate with local choir leaders to help them understand the importance of singing and of worship and of hymns. Talk a little bit about that and how this concert, this Christmas show, contributes to that goal.
Yeah, well, the Christmas, obviously the hymn tour and the Sing Conference are much more focused on the songs you sing all year round. The Christmas tour is more about Christmas music. It's more of a chance to invite people to, but we also do give people some of our music. It's a gateway to get to understand the hymns and to enjoy them and to have them for next year. And so a lot of it is also just introducing the music to people as well. But the great thing about the Christmas music is, the great carols of the faith, the great Christmas hymns of the faith, are probably among the best that were ever written. And there's lots of reasons for that. Part of it is the rhythm of the Christmas season and the sentimentality of it means we sing hymns over and over again. So we get to know them deeper in the same way as a person, as maybe your cousins, because you get to see them every Christmas. You know them better than most people else in your life, even if personality-wise you might not have chosen if they just not happened to be your cousin. Do you know what I mean? So I think the rhythm of singing them every year is really important, and that's something we should learn from for the rest of the year too. I think also the fact that the great carols of the faith tell the story of redemption but they also emphasize incarnation, emphasize Christ's life, his words, his vulnerability, his story. All of those things actually allow carols to bind into our humanity in a much more personal way, and especially in a culture that we have now that leans towards story and away from fact, even more so for our generation. It's a vital opportunity, I think, for churches to really reach to their own, reach to the next generation of children, but reach to those who are yet to believe as well.